So what we're going to do is we're going to download and install the MLAB computer program for mathematical modeling. And the way we do that is through your favorite browser, in this case, Firefox. So we run Firefox. Now what we'll do is we'll visit the website called www.civilize.com. We'll search out in that website where you get a download copy of MLAB for Windows, and we'll download it, which will bring a file to this desktop. And then we'll do the installation, which is pretty easy. You just run the MLAB program itself, and it sets itself up. Okay, so now we're here in a browser, and we're going to go visit civilize.com. And I'll type in www.civilizeed.com and return. And now here is the home page for the MLAB software. And we're going to scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. Technical application notes are really interesting. I recommend them to you, but not this instant. And download a free trial copy. That's what we want. Click. Here we go. Download and install a trial copy of MLAB. So download versions are available for Windows and Macs and PPC Macs and even earlier than that. And you could even get a DOS version if you want to. And now download a version for a Windows PC. Click here. Okay, the downloadable version runs on these operating systems and more. And before you download, you're going to want to read these directions, but we're not going to do it. We're going to pass over them. You shouldn't. You should go read the directions, of course. And then here are some manuals, which you're going to need to know about, but we're going to pass over those. And then we're going to talk about downloading and uncompressing. And be sure to study the short MLAB manual found here. This is very important. We're not going to do that either. And now we're going to click here to download MLAB. Click. Okay, and we have to fill out a little form, so we will do it. And I'll just use my name. And I'll use my organization, Civilize. Oops, did I get that right? Yes, I did. .com. That's good enough. And I'm not going to do too much there, but I will say CSI at civilize.com. And I will say CSI at civilize.com again, and I will give a phone number 962-3711, and my applications are at the moment showing how to install MLAB. And now we will submit the form and download MLAB. Submit. There we are. Okay, click here to download MLAB. So you actually have to click twice. You have chosen to download a file called mlab.exe, and that's exactly what we'd like to do. So we'll say Save File. The question is, where in the world is that file? Well, it turns out wherever it is, we get a window here that tells us that we can save it to the desktop, and that's what we want to do. So file name zmlab.exe. It's a binary executable file. Save it to the desktop, and here we go. Click. Okay. And your system may vary depending on what browser you're using, so you may have to go find the file if you don't get asked to save it to the desktop. Okay, and if we're lucky, it is now saved. So let's move this browser over, and let's see if it's around somewhere. Do we see a zmlab.exe? Yes, by golly, there is a file called zmlab.exe. I think we're done with our browser, so let's say goodbye to the browser. Actually, we are asked to do is click here to download, and when done, click here. So click, and we're back to our home page, but I'm not interested in looking around there now. So, okay, now actually take this ZMLab. What is it? It's an executable file. So what happens when you run the ZMLab executable to unpack and install MLAB? The first thing that happens is that Windows doesn't recognize the program. It gets worried about it and says, do you want to run it? The answer is absolutely yes, I do. So run it. And then the Winzip self-extractor program runs, and it says unzip all the files in ZMLab to the directory MLAB, and the answer is absolutely unzip it. And 52 files were unzipped successfully, which is exactly correct. Okay. And what happens next is that the Winzip Unpacker runs a DOS window, a command window, in which it reports that everything has been done and tells you to hit any key to terminate this program. So that's what we'll do, is hit return. And guess what? There is now an icon on your desktop for MLAB. So that automatically appeared as a result of running the ZMLab program. And now we can run the MLAB program. So we have successfully installed MLAB. And before we actually run it, let's look at the properties of that icon. So we right-click, look at properties. And what that icon says is that it's supposed to run the file mlab.exe, which is found in the MLAB directory of the C drive. That's where the actual MLAB executable is. And your working directory is the MLAB directory on the C drive. Now we will finish this. We can turn it off. And we'll run MLAB by double-clicking. Click, click. And here's MLAB. MLAB starts out with a little, actually it starts out with a command window, a text window or console window, which is obscured by this window right here, which I'll move temporarily. There it is. So here's the command window, and it says we're running the MLAB program, revision May 31. We're executing the file MLAB, really mlab.exe, found in the directory MLAB on the C drive. It's a product of the Civilized Software Company, which you can reach by emailing csi@civilized.com. You can find out more at www.civilized.com, which is where you got this program. Today's date is June 29, 2016. Your current working directory is CMLab. Use FileDir to reach any other directory is an interesting thing that we're not going to talk about right now. It's equivalent to so-called CD commands. Star is going to prompt you for a command to be entered. Your MLAB identifier value is this number, 3055M. Which we'll talk more about later. This copy of MLAB currently belongs to Civilized Software. You've got a lot of memory, counting virtual memory, and we still have this little menu on the screen. Look at a list of MLAB demonstrations. Well, you really should do that. It's a very interesting thing to do, but we're not going to do that right now. What we're going to do is go to top level MLAB, hit continue. We now have what? One more line, type exit to exit from MLAB, and then a star, a prompt. And MLAB being a program that obeys commands, if we give a command such as type the cosine of 3.14159, close, we should get an answer, and we do, -1. Of course, that isn't exactly the truth, but it's good enough for 64-bit floating point calculation. Okay, having run MLAB, we're now going to finish running MLAB. So we type exit. And we have just installed and executed MLAB for the first time.